You get to meet Mario Andretti because of my irresponsible, ludicrous, stupid actions, and you can't let me off with a warning? So when I was working for MagnaFlow back in the early 2000s, and we had Mario Andretti had a relationship with the owner of the company. They're both Italian, of course. MagnaFlow had been sponsoring Mario for a long, long time. So we said, Mario, would you be our guest and Grand Marshal of the Bullrun, because we're going to have 2 branded cars there. So I had borrowed a car from a friend who got me a contact at Audi to get an RS4. It was just coming out that year. And then we got a Panos, the GT road car, whatever that thing was, with it's all Ford stuff. It's all Cobra Dash and all that kind of stuff. It's a Ford motor back at that time. So my boss came along, Mario Andretti came along, and we started off in Times Square on a Sunday. And so the route was we were going to go from New York to Los Angeles. And Mario, we're going to drop him off in Pennsylvania where he lives. So we'd be there for the Grand Marshal, and then we would get him to Pennsylvania, and we would say our goodbyes. So Mario's riding along, and I'm in the RS4. Hayden Christensen was on this, Richard Rawlings was on this, Rob Ferretti was on this, all these people that I would grow to know and love over the years and who would become big players in what we do. So Hayden Christensen was in a 360 Ferrari, and he was in front of us. So we come through the Holland Tunnel. As you leave New York, you go out the Holland Tunnel. And they've got these little cocoon stations that are like glass windows, this little protrusion in the tunnel where their hall monitors sat, at least at that time, and they could monitor the traffic, what's going on in there. So everybody said, all the warnings from Andrew Duncan and all those guys from Bullrun. These guys are Bullrun. It's not a race. It's not a race. It's not a race. Bullshit. It's a race. We're good for the first couple miles. We get into the Holland Tunnel, and it's a free-for-all. Forget it. Everybody is off the rev limiter, full throttle, no lift shifts, 120 miles an hour. And the little guy sitting there in that little protrusion jumps up from his desk like the nuclear reactor just went into the red zone. Vroom, 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 vroom. All these cars going through. So we get onto the New Jersey Turnpike, and I'm probably maybe the 4th or 5th car in the row. And we're hauling ass. The speeds we're getting 130, 140, 150. Where there was open spots, you get a clearance in the traffic and do that. And basically everybody was in triple digits. All of a sudden, looking way ahead, as you have to do when you're going at those speeds, you start to see brake lights. Out of caution, you at least lift off the throttle. Suddenly, it wasn't just the odd tap, like just kind of bleeding speed off. It was on the brakes like something's up there. So I start to get on the brakes. And as we come down to speed, I'm probably doing 85 at this time, I start to see people standing on the turnpike. And there's flares out there, and I'm like, oh, shit, it's an accident. There's state troopers out there, and they're funneling everybody over. As we go by this time I bled off to maybe 80, 60 miles. Pull over! Got us all pulled over. I'm the last car in the convoy. I don't know if they opened the flares, but cars started passing us by the time we got pulled over. State troopers pull up, several state troopers pull up, 4 state troopers pull up. Some people pass our car, some other people pass the car, go to the second car, third car, and then they come up to me. And he comes walking up. This guy comes walking over here. He's like at the rear quarter panel, right? This guy comes walking. He's got his hat on with the whole chin strap, as I remember. Maybe it didn't happen that way, but that's the way I remember it. And he comes in and he goes, man, who do you think you are, Mario Andretti? I said, well, I'm not, but he is. And he leans in and goes, holy shit, Bob, it's Mario Andretti. Mario Andretti's driving? No, he's in the car. I said, Mario, what are you doing in here? Just keeping an eye on these boys. He goes, I got to tell you, you're doing a terrible job. What are you doing here? We're doing a rally for charity. And he's like, yeah, what charity is it? I don't remember. We just wrote a check, that kind of thing, right? And he goes, do you have any idea how fast you're going? I'm just following these guys, man. I don't have a navigation system thing dialed in with this car. I just don't know. I'm just going, save it. Hey, Mario, do you think I can get you to sign something? Oh, sure. Bob comes over. He goes, can we sign something for me too? He goes, yeah, whatever you boys want. I think I'm scot-free. And as he takes a half a step, like he's going back to his car, right? And he leans in and he goes, I'll have something for you to sign too. I was like, I just turned white as a ghost. You get to meet Mario Andretti because of my irresponsible, ludicrous, stupid actions, and you can't let me off with a warning? I'm not coming back to Jersey. So he wrote me a ticket. He knocked it down a bit, because let's be honest, we're all doing 130 miles an hour. So he wrote me for like 85, which was a cheap ticket. So I figured, okay, that's my jinx for the rally. I'm good. We're good to go. Off we go. We drop Mario off of Pocono Raceway, which was our next stop. Then we head on down through Indiana, lovely state, to drive through or fly over. So we're going down there, and it's the same thing again. We're doing a buck something, right? And I've got a radar detector in the car, but that particular, don't ever buy a Passport radar detector back then. They weren't very good. They had 5 cops lined up on the downhill of the on-ramp. Now, usually I do the thing where I back off when I come to the bridges and all that kind of stuff. This particular time, we hadn't seen a cop in hours. Let's go by, 2 cop cars come out in pursuit. So I get pulled over. They got me at 105. Okay, I was doing much faster than that, but they gave me 105. It says, okay, here's the deal. Because if you're not from this state, you have to pay in cash. We have a lockbox in the. First, I'm starting to smell. This is something out of like one of those movies where it's going to be a shakedown and all that kind of stuff. But it's the 2000s. I figured we're probably past that now. He says, well, here's the deal. The ticket is $109, and I said $109 for 105 miles an hour. Look, we still got another an hour and a half. Can I prepay? He didn't find that all that amusing. So I pull out and wad of 20s. He says, nope, you have to pay exact change because we can't make change. We put it right in the envelope, we seal it, we sign it, and we stick it in a drop box, in a lockbox, which is in their car. And I was like, okay, well, I feel a little better about this, but now I'm fucked because I don't have exact change, and neither does my co-driver. He says, well, okay. So we pull up into the gas station, just the next exit down. It was just a couple miles. He's right behind us in tow. Pull up in the gas station. I pull up. I don't even pull up close to the pump. Pull up to the front door. I jump out of the car. Runs into. I need change for a 20. We don't do change. So you have to buy something. So I bought a mocha frappuccino or whatever it is and got change. And she just looks at me. How fast did it get you for? She knows. So what are you talking about? You got to pay a ticket right now, right? How did you know that? It happens all the time. You're my third one today. I said, well, there's a whole line of about 100 cars coming behind. You probably want to get some change in the cash register. Traffic started to get thick as we started to head to make that turn to go north into Chicago. One of the drivers on the rally was a fellow by the name of Carl Lewis. Now, if you look him up, he's an Olympic athlete. He doesn't like to lose, and neither did my co-driver. We're coming up on traffic, and we're doing triple digits, well into the triple digits, and traffic is slowing down. And I'm not talking about like 70 slow down. I'm talking like 40 slow down. They both look at each other, and they said, fuck it, and they both go onto the shoulders. And now they're still doing 80, 90 miles an hour on their shoulder. I'm like, oh, wow, here we go. And my partner looks at me and says, you can't be a pussy. You just can't be a pussy. If you're going to be in this thing, you can't be a pussy. That was the one where Rob Ferretti did a video. We were in, we were Kansas. So we left Kansas in the morning. We weren't on the road 15 minutes. There's a toll booth. It's like 12 toll stations. Pull up there, and there's state troopers at every toll booth. I was like, wow, these guys got good enforcement. Give me your driver's license. So you checking IDs? We're not driving or drunk. No, we're getting calls all over the highway from you guys. Give me your driver's license. You may want to call your wives. You're not going to be home for dinner. And this time, honestly, I was not speeding. As a matter of fact, there was already like 30 cars pulled over in front of us. So he pulled everybody over to the shoulders, got everybody out of the car, and the police, they were nicest police over. They were getting calls for sure. There's half a dozen guys, the guys are passing on the shoulder and all. It's the same shit every time. There's a bunch of guys who'll drive fast where it's safe to drive fast. There's a bunch of guys who'll just do hood rat shit. But when he gathers everybody around, Ferretti was there with the camera. He's got his camera for his Super Speeders episode. I think I remember watching that one not too long ago again. And the cops are saying, here's what's going on, folks. We're getting calls up and down the interstate from y'all. And this stuff is not going to fly in our jurisdiction. So we're going to escort you to the end of our jurisdiction. So I expect you to all behave to the end of our jurisdiction, right? And you can hear it in the video saying, yep, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir, yes, sir. And that's pretty much how we got through Kansas. Now, Colorado was a different story. Colorado, we left Vail, Colorado, and who's the girl with the yellow Corvette? There was somebody in a yellow Corvette that rear-ended a cop as he merged on the freeway. That was a good one. But there was a road, Interstate 70, is it in Colorado, right? You know, you go through the mountains there. We were flat out. We were 160, 170 there. Helicopter from Bullrun had swooped in. It was like a Robinson R44. They ain't very fast, right? What did I do, 120 miles an hour or something like that? So he came in there, we had a bunch of cars together in a pack doing 140 plus. And he was only there for like 10 seconds and he fell back and disappeared. I saw the guy at the bar that night. He says, I said, that was great footage, man. Why didn't you stick with it? He said, we couldn't keep up. I said, isn't this the same helicopter, the cops? But he says, that's as fast as these helicopters go. I said, good to know. I put that in my memory bank. So the Bull Run was educational, to say the least. 2 tickets, and those points were on my record for 3 years, and my insurance went up at $1,000 a year. It wasn't too bad. And that's why I don't do rallies anymore. 2 tickets in 2 days. My partner got 2 as well.
Premier Financial Services has been a sponsor of VINwiki for the last 4 years, and we can't thank them enough for their support, and we love them for that, but also because their Simple Lease truly is a tremendous product in the world of exotic car financing. They allow you to minimize your payment, minimize your down payment, take all the tax advantages that are available for a lease, while still giving you the ability to move in and out of cars and accumulate equity. So they structure it in a very unique way that's hugely advantageous, gives you a lot more buying power, and their customer service is absolutely incredible. So we love Mitch and their team for their continued support of the channel. We thank them for that, but please visit them at the link in the description below and find out how easy it is to buy your dream car through Premier Financial Services.